So what we have here is a half-inch right metric, half-inch or 12 millimetre metric hole and thread, and the bolts that we're using are 10mm metric with a coarse thread. So we've got to make up some T-nuts that we can use on the rotary table to fix, to chuck onto the rotary table. So what we've got is a piece of scrap steel here, and just fortunately the height of the steel, the width of the steel are almost perfect for our nuts, so our T-nuts. So what we can do here is just mark these out. We need 3 of them, and then we'll have to go through the process of drilling the appropriate hole and then tapping those so we can use them on the rotary table. Alright, so we've put our stock piece into the vise. What we're going to do now is just basically true it up. We're not going to go overboard on this, it's just a matter to get it reasonably square. We've got both edges of the stock milled down and we've got that nice and true. We're just going to mill off one edge and make that square with reference to this, and then we can start doing our marking out. Let's cut first. So what we're up to now is we're just going to tap each of these holes. You can see we started to prep for this one. Now we're using a compound here that we've put on, and we're also using our tap. Now this is the 8mm tap, and we just put a bit of compound on that as well. So we've got our tap follower here that we've already put in to our collet. We now put the tap in there, and we'll just put the bring that right down, lock that, and now I can just start running the tap down into the hole. We're just going around, and then we're breaking the chip as we're going through. The compound I'm using is quite a heavy duty compound. It's more of an industrial compound, but I find it quite good. And we're through. So we've got the tap all the way through. We'll just bring up our follower. We're basically using the tap follower here to keep it straight. I've never seen the necessity to maintain it all the way down, because once you get the cut started and it's running straight, it should stay straight. Alright, so what we've done is we've gone through and tapped all the holes, and I think the proof is in the pudding. So these are for the 10mm, and this one here, these three are for the 8mm. So our next process is to just take all that out. We're going to deburr it all, and then we're going to start cutting off our individual T-nuts. So we finally got all the T-nuts completed, and what we used to cut the side profile on these was a 10mm roughing end mill, and we were taking cuts of 1mm in until we got both sides of the T-nuts done. So after that, these are all being tested with the associated bolts or hex bolts that are being used, and all go together well. The whole purpose of making the T-nuts was to be able to use on the rotary table and to be able to secure the chuck to the rotary table. So now it's got a matter of putting the bolts through, lining them up with the T-nuts, and then securing them down. Alright, so what we've done here, we've got the rotary table, we've got our chuck centered onto the rotary table as close as possible, and now what we're doing is tightening up the T-nut. And there's 3 T-nuts that go onto this to tighten it up, and we'll just lock those down, all 3 of them. And they should be ready to put onto the mill.